Well, hi there. My name is Theo. Channel name is Dashric. This is a series of videos I'm calling Football 101. This is concerning American football. I live in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. I'm from the United States of America originally, and I am a middle linebacker for the Hilversum Hurricanes. And I figured, as I've talked to a bunch of people in the various bars and stuff, and I know that many Europeans don't actually understand this sport, so I have created a series of videos that hopefully will make things seem a little better and simpler about this ridiculously complicated sport. So in this video, we're going to be going over a sample play and scoring. This is basically how does the game progress, and then what are all the various types of points one can score. I mean, there's really one type of point, but there's multiple values, similar to rugby. So when we've got a field, we have a sideline, these things called hashes. At any given point in the field, depending on where the play is starting, it is called the line of scrimmage. And the offense will line up on this side of the ball, and the defense will line up on this side of the ball. I'm just using X's and O's to denote different sides of the ball. I have other videos that explain all these various positions. And this is not to scale. Okay, so this is a very basic look at the field. Like I said, this is the offense side of the field, this is the defense side of the field. So, the play is going to be going up. The offense has 4 chances to get 10 yards. Now, for those of you here in Europe that don't understand, I don't understand the imperial system with yards. Well, guess what? We're basically looking at 10 meters. Basically. Now, to figure that one out, that is 10 of these little marks. There's bigger lines that mark every 5, and then numbers which mark 10s. The field, that's a different video on how the field is laid out. This is what they get. They get 4 chances to move the ball from that square, basically, up 10 yards. And if they cannot do that between, this guy running up this way, this guy throwing it out here and catching it, they can't do that. Most teams that I know, and so when you've got your 4 plays to go 10 yards, if you go 3 and then 3 and then 4, that equates to 10. At that point, we will have a first down, but you've only used it 3 times. This doesn't roll over. You don't get 5 the next time. You start over. Once you reach 10, you get to restart again, and you will go back to your 4 times to go 10. It doesn't matter. If you wanted to absolutely progress the entire length of the field, you have 4 tries to go 10 yards, and if you only go 10 yards within those 4 tries, it will take you 10 downs to cross the field, because the whole field is 100 yards. That is really long. But anything over 10 just starts the ball further down the field. It doesn't carry over necessarily to the next series. So when you've got 4 downs, let's say you've got your first one, your second one, and your third one, and that'll equal up to 10. Boom, first down, awesome. Basically, at that point, everything gets scrubbed, you start from the new point and go. This applies to anything over 10. If you have a 2-yard gain, go forward, and then you have a 13-yard gain, you will then start at that new line with as 0, even though you've made it 15 yards from your first one. Anything over 10 and it all just resets and you start at the new point. How you get the ball down there is a combination of whether you want to throw the ball or you want to hold it and run it. There's theory crafting as to why you would want to do one over the other. That's a completely different video. Okay, so what happens if you only do 2 yards, 1 yard, and then your last one screws up? So you only get 3 of 10. There's an option that most people do on their 4th down. It's called a punt. It is a part of what is called special teams. Different video on that one. And what you do is you basically, a person called the long snapper will basically hike the ball back to the punter. And the punter just kicks it as hard as they can. It basically says, we do not feel confident to be able to get 10 yards within these 4 plays. So for our 4th play, we're just going to send you back the other direction as far as you can go. Again, special teams, totally different video, but that's an option. If you are within a certain yardage, depending on the player you have selected, for a place kicker, again, different video, whole special teams video, you can elect for a field goal. It's like a punt, but rather than a drop kick, it's a placed kick. And you have to make it between the uprights. The uprights look like that. You have to make it between those. Now, if you do that, you get, this makes a perfect way into scoring, a field goal is worth 3 points. Okay, so back to other scorings. Let's say on your 2nd down, you actually get the ball into the end zone. Whether you throw it and the person catches it, or you run it and they pass what's called the goal line, you will get a touchdown, and that is worth 6 points. There is a whole reason as to why the scoring changed many years ago in the United States. And so we can go over that one in a theory crafting video if people want it. After a touchdown, you can elect for a point after touchdown. The PAT. It typically uses the same special teams as your field goal. Usually here in Europe, people will just yell out field goal because they don't need to worry about a specific kind. But it still uses your place kicker. It still uses a shield of tubby guys to block anybody trying to get through to the kicker. And it still uses, yeah. And that is equal to 1 point. So a touchdown with a fairly average kicker can be considered 7 points, but it can get screwed up. There is another option to convert. It's a really, really terrible handwriting, but you can elect to attempt to get into the end zone without doing a kick, but through a normal play, such as like a pass or a run. And that is worth 2 points. So you can have your touchdown plus your 2-point conversion equals 8. Scoring is a little weird. It'll make sense. So there is really no way to score 4 points. There is really no way to score 5 points. You can, in combination, score these. But again, your PAT or your 2-point conversion must come after a touchdown. You can't just weirdly score those in and of themselves. There is a more advanced video about how you can get 1 point, whatever. There is another option for 2 points that is scored defensively. And that is called a safety. It is also worth 2 points. And so, yeah, safety is worth 2 points. The qualification for a safety is that, put that line of scrimmage up here, and we'll go with the center, the guard, the guard, the guard, the guard. And then, let's say you have the goal line right here. So the offensive team is pushed back towards their end zone. If the quarterback or anybody gets tackled back in this area from a defensive player behind the goal line, that is called a safety. Sometimes they can happen. They're really great to happen because that allows the defense to score. A safety can only be scored by the defense. The defense can also score a touchdown if they, bit more later in a different video, if they intercept the ball during its path and pick it up while it's still considered a live ball, it will they can then run it all the way back from wherever into the end zone, to their end zone. And that counts as an actual touchdown. That's pretty much that, and ways of scoring and how the field's laid out. So if you have any questions, ask them below. This was kind of confusing a little bit, but yeah, it's one of the more complicated things about basic American football. Catch you later.